the ellipse command. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the ellipse command to draw both approximate ellipses and isometric ellipses. I'm also going to show you how to use ellipse arc. But first, approximate ellipses. An approximate ellipse has a maximum diameter and a minimum diameter. For example, in this particular case, I'm going to erase these guys, this one and this one, this text and the extension lines and dimension lines, and I'm actually going to dimension it. I'm going to select linear dimension from the dimension toolbar, pick. This is 4 inches. The maximum diameter of this ellipse is 4 inches. I'm going to select linear dimension from here to here, 1 inch. So this particular approximate ellipse has a 4-inch maximum diameter and a 1-inch minimum diameter. I'm going to duplicate it down here. I'm going to select ellipse, this ellipse icon from the draw toolbar, and I'm going to pick right here, and I'm going to come horizontally across at 0 degrees 4 inches. Now here's the trick. In AutoCAD, to draw an approximate ellipse, you don't do the minimum diameter, the 1 inch. Half. You do half of the minimum diameter. So here I'm going to type in 0.5, and there we have duplicated this approximate ellipse. But remember, you don't do the full minimum diameter. You do half of the minimum diameter. Now watch. I'm going to select ellipse again. I'm going to do an approximate ellipse. Pick down here. My maximum diameter, 4 inches. My minimum diameter, 0.5. I've drawn the same ellipse just at a 90-degree angle. So for an approximate ellipse, you need 2 distances. The maximum diameter and the minimum diameter. Now I'm going to show you an approximate ellipse. To do that, I'm going to insert a cube that I drew earlier. This is an iso cube, and I'll just go ahead and put it right there. This isometric cube, I went ahead and put in the center lines for these isometric ellipses. Now, in order to draw isometric ellipses, you need to do one thing first. You need to come down to the grid, down here at the bottom, grid display or snap, either one of the two. Right click, pick settings, and snap type. What you're going to do is select isometric. You want to come out of rectangle. That's what you do all your drawings with, really, is the rectangular snap. You're going to change that to isometric and pick OK. Look at the crosshairs. Notice how they changed. Look at the grid. If you can see the grid, notice how the grid has changed. What we're going to do is we're going to draw isometric ellipses. Now, I want you to notice the crosshairs. Do you see how they're oriented? They're oriented just like these center lines. I'm going to press F5, function key F5 on my keyboard. Notice how it changed my cursor. Now they're oriented just like these center lines. I'm going to press F5 again. It changed again, and notice the cursor looks like this set of center lines. So by pressing function key F5 on the keyboard, you toggle your crosshair, your cursor, to, and I want you to look at the command prompt, from ISO right, ISO plane right, to ISO plane left, to ISO plane top, back to ISO plane right. Those are the only 3 ways that they will toggle. They'll toggle this way, that way, and to the top. Because those are the only 3 ways that you can draw an ellipse. And also, they're in line with your isometric grid. So first, I'm going to draw this ellipse right here on that side of the cube. I'm going to select ellipse. Now, a word has been added to your options down at the command prompt. It says specify axis endpoint of ellipse, or, and in your options, isocircle. That wasn't there before when you were drawing approximate ellipses, and I'll show you that hopefully in a minute. But for now, I'm going to type in I for isocircle. Don't forget, in order to draw an isometric ellipse, you have to type in I for isocircle and press enter. Now it's asking me to specify the center of the isocircle. I'm going to pick right here, this center, it's the midpoint of this line. I'm going to pick it. Now look at the ellipse, the isometric ellipse it is trying to draw. That is incorrect. I'm going to press F5 to toggle my crosshair. That one is correct. It's isoplane left. And I'm going to type in 1 inch radius, press enter, and I've just drawn a 1 inch radius ellipse. This is isoplane left, isoplane right, isoplane top. Watch. I'm going to go to top. I'm going to press F5 on the keyboard. Look at the command prompt. I am at isoplane top. I'm going to move here, press F5 on the keyboard. Look at the command prompt. I am at isoplane right. Come here, press F5 again. I am at isoplane left. This is the ellipse for isoplane left. I'm going to select ellipse again. I for isocircle, press enter. I'm going to put it right here. This is going to be my center. It's asking me for the center. That's incorrect. Look at my crosshair to begin with. My crosshair is isoplane left. I need isoplane top. So press F5. That is isoplane top. Now this time I'm going to type in the letter D. I have the option for diameter. I'm going to type in the letter D and press enter. And I'm going to type in a 2 inch diameter ellipse. And that's exactly what I've drawn, isoplane top. One more, I'm going to select ellipse. Now, usually, well not usually, but sometimes students forget to type in the letter I for isocircle. If you do, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to come here and I pick, and it's not asking me for a diameter or radius, it's asking me for the end point of axes. When you see that, you're trying to draw an approximate ellipse. If you forget to type in I for isocircle, you're drawing an approximate ellipse. I'm going to pick ellipse again, type in I for isocircle, press enter. It's going to ask me for the center. This is it right here. I'm going to type in the letter D for diameter and 2. Is that correct? That is not correct. Even I've seen students actually draw ellipses like these on that side, and they think it's perfect. It is not correct. I'm going to select the ellipse. I for isocircle, press enter, and pick. This is where you have to make your decision, not after you type in the distance. F5, that is correct. This is correct. It is isoplane right. Type in D for diameter, 2 inches, and that's it. These are the only ways that you can draw an isometric ellipse. It's either going to be isoplane right, isoplane left, or isoplane top. If you're drawing an isometric and you have to draw, for example, an ellipse on an inclined plane, there you may have to use an approximate ellipse. But for regular drill holes on an isometric view, these are the only 3 ways that you can draw them. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase these guys, and I'm going to show you ellipse arc. I'm going to select ellipse arc, and I'm going to, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to escape. Notice my crosshair. There's still an isometric grid. I could have drawn it. I can draw an approximate ellipse using my crosshairs like this, but what I'm going to do is I want to change this back to a rectangular grid. I'm going to come here, right click, settings. I want to change it back to rectangular grid, pick OK. Look at my crosshairs. This is a rectangular grid. I'm going to select ellipse arc. I'm going to pick here to here, and I'm going to pick over here. And then I'm going to come, look at the command prompt, it's asking me to specify the start angle. I'm going to pick here, and I'm drawing the arc. There it is. You can use it in architectural to draw openings above windows, doorways, things like that. These are, now watch what happens. I'm going to select ellipse arc again. Go up. Once again. But this time I'm going to start my ellipse arc on the left side. I'm drawing it underneath. So if I start on the right, counterclockwise, this is the arc I get. If I started it on the left, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm getting my counterclockwise and my clockwise mixed up. If I pick it here, go counterclockwise, I end up getting below. Pick here, go counterclockwise, I end up above. Alright, so now I'm going to erase both of these guys. I'm going to select ellipse arc. I'm going to pick from here to here to here. And I want you to notice that if I pick here, I can draw this guy all the way around to here, just like that, leaving an opening. This is ellipse arc. You may end up using it in architectural, somewhere in there, but it is a very handy command to have. All right, so the ones that I want you to remember are approximate ellipse. This is the approximate ellipse. Remember, maximum diameter half of the minimum diameter. To get to isometrics, you need to go down here to snap or grid, right click, pick settings, change to isometric snap, pick OK, look at the crosshairs, select ellipse again, don't forget, type in I for iso circle, press enter, pick a center point, and then once you move it out, and you can actually see the ellipse, function key F5 toggles it ISO right, ISO left, ISO top, and then once you make your decision, type in either the radius or D for diameter and draw the isometric ellipse. Remember 3-point ellipse, you're going to pick. Notice, I'm still in isometric, in the isometric snap, but I can still draw these guys, approximate or the 3-point. I'm going to pick, and I'll pick, let me pick on this side, this, and then there's my ellipse arc. This is the ellipse command.